What's up guys, Everything Apple Pro here, and I've had my iPhone X for a few days already. I absolutely love it. There is a learning curve to go along with transitioning to a device without a home button though, so in this video I thought I'd share with you all of the tips, less known things, hidden little gestures that I've learned in my few days of using the iPhone X that have actually changed my experience for me. There's some stuff I bet you will not even know about in this video, although I'm sure most of you guys know almost everything there is to know about the iPhone X already. So let's go ahead and get into that, and I wanted to start with some of the more simple stuff like waking your device. Obviously, Apple talked about the wake or tap to wake feature, but I didn't know it works with just one tap instead of a double tap. I thought that's what it took. It works with both, but you can just simply tap on your device or of course raise to wake in order to get into the device. So that's pretty cool. Now actually using the control center up on top is pretty unintuitive. You have to go all the way up here, and I wish Apple would switch this and make it something like a 3D touch on the home button bar down here, but I doubt they would do that because it would simulate a home button press, which they were trying to get away with the whole gesture thing. But anyways, I wanted to say that you can actually access the notification center from anywhere on the touch bar. It doesn't have to be specifically up here in the top left. So a swipe down on any part of the touch bar up top will actually trigger the lock screen. So that's pretty cool. It doesn't have to be on the very left. And just because you have that top sensor bar doesn't mean you can't tap to scroll to the top anymore. You can still do that on the notch. So if you're in a website, you want to go quickly back to top, you can quickly just tap over there and it'll still take you to the top. And the actual battery percentage is still there. All you need to do is go into the control center and you'll see it there. You can't actually set it to appear in the status bar because there simply isn't enough room. And a lot of my friends have actually been mystified by that, but you can get a quick glance with a control center swipe. Of course, all of you guys do know about the gestures to get into the apps. You can quickly just slide in between here. You can jump through them just like this. But one thing that I don't see being talked about is that you can actually just quickly get into the last used app with a swipe on the bottom. And with a longer one, you can actually go through several apps as you saw I just did, just like that. So swipe and swipe, and it'll just jump right back into the last used app, which is a really neat shortcut. That way you don't have to go into the control center or the app switcher every single time to open it. Just swipe on the home screen, you go back into your last used app. Now there's actually several ways to get into the app switcher. Probably the most popular is just to swipe up and hold, but that's kind of counterintuitive. It takes too long. So there's another way. You can swipe up and swipe to the right, just like that, in like an arc. Then there's another one within an app. You just swipe up to the right like that, and it quickly opens up the app switcher. Or personally, my favorite way to do it, and probably the fastest, just swipe up and let go. Just swipe up, let go. That way you don't have to pause and hold to wait for the app switcher to open. It's probably the fastest way to do it, is just swipe up and hold, and you will perfect it. It takes some getting used to these gestures, but this one is probably my favorite way to do it. Now actually closing apps in the app switcher, there's a couple ways to do it. So for one, you can just hold on the cards and go up here and quickly close out of them. Probably the fastest way to do that by tapping the little minus icons, or you can quickly exit just one app by sliding up and then holding it and then just sliding up without letting go. So again, you jump into the app switcher, hold the card, and then just swipe it up on its own. Pretty cool. And of course, as you guys know, to get into the power down menu, just want to reiterate this, you hold the volume up or down and the power button, and it gets you into this menu. So something I actually found out that I haven't seen anywhere is that if you continue to keep holding the volume down or the power, it starts activating the emergency SOS mode, as you can see, which is pretty cool. Now on the new 11.2 beta 2 version, I noticed that it will actually start from 5 instead of 3 now. So if you keep holding, as you can see, it gives you a little bit more breathing room there in case you accidentally activate this feature. So keep holding the power and volume to actually start the emergency SOS feature, which is kind of cool. So if you're in a situation where you need to activate it without looking at your phone, you can do that, but just make sure to turn off the sound in the settings. And another reason that that power down menu is so great is it'll actually lock your device right away. So if you come into contact with law enforcement, an ugly encounter, and you want to lock your device right away, just go ahead and hold both of those, get into that power down menu, and when you leave it, it requires a passcode now. So if you just didn't have time to do anything else and wanted to disable Face ID, that will allow you to do that. Now to actually reset your phone, it's a volume up press, volume down press, and then just hold the power button on its own, and it'll go ahead and force reset your phone. And if it's plugged into the computer, you can keep holding the power button and it'll go into recovery mode so you can restore the device. So that's just changes with every device. It's interesting. On the iPhone 7, it's a volume, I believe, down or up and power press. This one is just that. And something great that I personally love using is the accessibility shortcut with the home button on the device with a triple click. I use it for the low light filter. You can still get that on the iPhone 10 with a triple click of the side button. So I actually did 4 there. So triple clicking that will actually activate my low light filter, because I personally don't think the brightness goes down enough at night. And you can do that on the bottom here at the accessibility shortcuts in accessibility and select it, or just do a smart invert of the colors to get a sort of dark mode. Or actually I selected 2. So pretty cool that you can still use the shortcut here to enable the accessibility triple click shortcuts. You can actually get the home button experience back on the iPhone 10 if you don't like the gestures, which I don't see why you would get this device and not like the gestures. But if you really wanted to get them back, you can go into Assistive Touch, enable that, and this new button actually acts as a perfect home button. If you select it or drop it right in the middle there, you can 3D touch on it and it gives you this simulation of a home button. So it's a little annoying, it's going to be there, but you can actually make it less annoying by reducing the idle opacity just all the way down, so it's pretty much invisible. But it's kind of cool because it gives you that home button experience on a device that's not supposed to have a home button. So if you really wanted that, and it also has more stuff in here, which is pretty cool, there is that option. And you can also set a single tap just to go home, so that way it'll just work as a home button without having to physically press it every single time really hard. So you can tweak around with it. It's kind of cool that Apple still lets you do that on an iPhone 10 and pretty much gets you a home button back. And a neat little shortcut when moving applications. Instead of having to click done every single time to finish, you just slide up on the home bar just like that and it finishes. Just to remind you guys, reachability is back on the iPhone 10 as well. Just slide down onto the home button bar to bring the screen down, and it is a little finicky, but you do get used to it. And you can also slide on the top right or the top left once you get reachability down in order to bring up either the control center or the lock screen. And definitely not iPhone 10 exclusive, but I'd like to remind you to keep that flow of the gestures and easeability of the iPhone. When you're 3D touching, you don't have to get your finger off of the display. Literally 3D touch and just slide up to go wherever and you'll jump there. Same goes for the control center, so just 3D touch and you can go ahead and slide, and it just helps with the flow of things on a device without a home button. All right guys, so there it is, some gestures for the iPhone 10. Definitely some of my favorites would have to be the last used app, just by sliding on the bottom in the home screen, and then to open up the app switcher, literally slide up and let go. So if you guys have learned anything from this video, those would probably be the most useful. Thanks for watching guys, hope you're enjoying your iPhone 10 as much as I am, and stay tuned for more videos. Peace.